If you're a professional fiduciary, you've likely had that call. An attorney or referral source reaches out about a new case. There's no liquid cash in the estate, but there is real estate. Now you're left wondering, is this case even worth taking? Will the property generate enough to justify the time, risks, and upfront costs? In this video, I'll walk you through the real estate-related red flags and key questions to ask, and how I collaborate with fiduciaries to help them make smart, informed decisions about real estate before they commit to a case. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Andrew Vries. I help professional and family fiduciaries sell, trust, and probate real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area with less stress, liability, and for more money. I've closed over 900 of these transactions, and this channel is here to help you avoid costly mistakes. If this information is relevant to you, consider subscribing below. That said, let's dive into the top 5 questions professional fiduciaries should ask in considering taking a real estate rich, cash poor estate or trust. Question number 1, is the property saleable? Yes, believe it or not, even in the hot Bay Area, some properties may not be saleable. So the first question a professional fiduciary needs to ask is, what does saleable really mean in a fiduciary context? It means that there is a willing seller and buyer able to make a deal. A seller must have authority to sell the property, such as in a will or trust, and there must be a market of willing buyers to purchase the property and have the means to do so. For example, if you have a beautiful home on the 9th hole of Pebble Beach and full authority in a trust to sell the property and support of all the beneficiaries of the trust, you will likely have an able seller and an audience of willing buyers. But what if you have a home in significant disrepair, with a foundation that is sliding down a hillside, a reverse mortgage accruing, and you have feuding heirs questioning value and your actions, and you have limited authority in a probated estate that will require a lengthy court confirmation sale? In this case, you may not have a willing market of buyers for this property, and as a seller, you may find yourself with limited avenues with which to strike a deal with buyers due to your limited authority, the need for court confirmation, the objection of the heirs, and the limited equity in the property due to the large reverse mortgage. So to give you a few quick takeaway tips, here are a few kinds of properties that should raise a few initial red flags to start asking questions about. Family member occupied properties, particularly with long-term family member occupants that may be adverse to a sale or have not lived anywhere else. Rental properties, particularly with long-term tenants or problematic tenants. Properties in heavily rent-controlled cities and counties in the Bay Area. Properties with large mortgage balances or reverse mortgage balances. Always ask for balances up front. Properties with significant disrepair or neglect. This may require a personal walkthrough with a professional to ascertain the actual condition. The second question a fiduciary should consider when receiving a potential referral for a cash-poor, real estate-rich case is, what is the property really worth? Of course, this is a question that may not be able to be answered right away, but usually we can help fiduciaries pretty quickly with a basic estimate. Unfortunately, fiduciaries and attorneys often first turn to public sites like Zillow or Redfin for estimates of value, which can be helpful for a baseline value, but are not something that fiduciaries should rely on for making case-taking decisions. Why is that? Because these sites are simply computer algorithms based on tax record, sales, and transfer data, which cannot take occupancy, condition, locations, liens, and many other specific amenities, both good and bad, such as a pool versus a busy road, into account. Another valuation source that is often turned to by attorneys, but should be viewed by fiduciaries with some caution when making case-taking decisions, are probate referee valuations and past date of death valuations done for a trust. The key danger here is that probate referee valuations may be overestimated, as may past date of death valuations, if the real estate market has changed since the date of death, as it often does. For example, probate referee valuations done for an estate's inventory and appraisal, or INA, which is a court-required estimate of value, are often not conducted like real appraisals done for real estate sales purchases by licensed appraisers. Referee valuations are often done as desktop appraisals based on Zillow values and some comparable sales information, but without any site visit, photos, or reports to ascertain condition, tenant or occupant status, or any specific amenities to the location that could influence values up or down. And frankly, these valuations are often incorrect on the first pass and need to be readjusted when more information is provided to the referee. The same may go for past date of death valuations if the real estate market has changed. For example, if an owner passed away in 2022 during the COVID pandemic, when interest rates were down below 3% and the COVID buying hysteria for single-family homes was at its height, the date of death appraisal the trust may have conducted could have a much higher value than the current value of the property in 2025, with interest rates now at 6 to 7% and a much more uncertain economic outlook. Therefore, as an expert in valuations and asking the right questions, I always recommend folks give me a call to discuss the intricacies of valuation in your specific case. The third question a fiduciary should consider when receiving a potential real estate rich and cash poor case is the property vacant or occupied? And if so, are they paying rent and how much? This is a very important question, and believe it or not, referrers may not always know the answer up front. But in the Bay Area and in real estate in general, the answers to these questions can have a huge impact on values, not just for rental properties, but for condos and single-family homes as well. So once you have the basic answers to these questions, when considering a case, call me right away and we'll go over the following questions in more depth together. Why does occupancy matter so much in this particular probate or trust sale situation or unique property? How will it affect the sales process? How will it affect the value? What's the difference between a family member, tenant, or unauthorized occupant? What extra time or legal steps could be required if the home is occupied? How does this affect the timeline, cost, and emotional complexity of the sales process? The fourth question a fiduciary should consider when receiving a potential real estate rich and cash poor case is, what encumbrances are there on the property? Just a few of the questions I ask and help my fiduciary clients uncover are, how much is owed on the property? Is there a reverse mortgage? And if so, what is the balance? What kind of liens are there on the property? These could be tax liens, past judgment, child support liens, refuse liens, inheritance loans taken out by heirs, and more. And they can be costly and a surprise if left till the very end of the sale. I also ask, what title issues or clouds on title might there be for the property? For example, is the property in the trust? Is there anyone else on title? Were there any past transfers done without a title company, which is known as an uninsured transfer? Without this information up front, a fiduciary can be caught flat-footed with a property that is too encumbered to sell or with little or no equity, which is why I work closely with new and experienced fiduciaries at this point. The last question that I recommend fiduciaries consider when evaluating a cash-poor real estate rich case is, where are the funds going to come from the personal property cleanout and any property preparation sale necessary? This is often an overlooked question, particularly with newer fiduciaries eager for business and to get some hands-on experience. The danger is, as anyone who has seen the movie The Money Pit with Tom Hanks knows, real estate cleanouts, fix-ups, and repairs can be very expensive. And with a cash-poor real estate rich trust, if there is no additional funds available, who is going to pay for this necessary work? The first step is to determine, at a bare minimum, what will need to be done to the property to make it saleable given the circumstances of the property and the situation. I work with fiduciaries from the beginning to walk the property and help come up with a list of sale preparation items that are absolutely must-dos, such as emptying the home of all personal property and a deep cleaning and gardening. And we can also discuss more advanced lipstick, such as painting, flooring, and more, that will net the sale a minimum of $2 to $3 back for every dollar invested. Once we develop those suggestions and a potential budget, the fiduciary has a framework to understand what the case will need and start thinking about the resources that may be necessary and where they may come from. These sources of funding can include family member or friends of the elder or decedent that may be willing to help out, probate and trust loans from private hard money lenders that specialize in loans to fiduciaries, vendors that may be willing to get paid out of escrow, fiduciaries who front some of the costs for certain cases, and perhaps most importantly, the interest-free fix-up loans and extensive preparation and project management that we provide to our fiduciary clients and have done so for over the past 20 years. Now that you've got a better handle on what are are the best cases for you to take as a fiduciary, you might be wondering about how probate and trust sales differ from standard real estate sales. In this video, I will walk you through how probate and trust sales come with unique legal requirements, court oversight, and additional complexities that most agents just don't have experience with. And that can cost you, as the fiduciary, a lot of time and money. So watch that video and I'll see you over there.